Alright, here we are on lesson 6, solving problems by finding equivalent ratios. You should be on page 15 in your packet. Make sure you're following along and going along as we go through this together. So exercise 1 says the business hotel district, or the business direct hotel caters to people who travel for different types of business trips. On Saturday night, there is not a lot of business travel, so the ratio of number of occupied rooms to the number of unoccupied rooms is 2 to 5. Alright, so we're comparing occupied to unoccupied. And this is on Saturday night. However, on Sunday night, the ratio of the number of occupied rooms to the number of unoccupied rooms is 6 to 1. So this is for Sunday night. Now it says if the Business Direct Hotel has 420 unoccupied rooms on Sunday night, so underline that, how many unoccupied rooms does it have on Saturday night? Okay, so you can see here I tried to color code the things. Blue is Saturday night, green is Sunday night. So part A here says use a tape diagram to model the occupied rooms and unoccupied rooms on Sunday night. So I'm going to work in green here for Sunday night. So we're going to draw our tape diagram. That's our first step. And we're going to label this as Sunday, just so we can see. And we're comparing occupied to unoccupied. Alright, and if you look back up here, the ratio of occupied to unoccupied was 6 to 1. So occupied is going to get 6 boxes. Alright, and unoccupied is only going to get 1. And make sure they're connected just like we've been doing. So now, they told us, we're trying to figure out how much each box is worth. They told us there were 420 occupied rooms on Sunday night. So that means that all of the occupied boxes represent 420. So this equals 420. We know that there are 6 boxes. So in your calculator or off to the side, 420 divided by 6 is 70. So that means each box is worth 70. Okay, so fill those in. And then on the line here it says how much is each unit worth in your tape diagram. And on the line we can put 70. Alright, so that's Sunday. Now going to B. It says knowing that the number of hotel rooms is the same both nights, draw a tape diagram to model the occupied and unoccupied rooms for Saturday night. So I'm going to go back to blue, and this is Saturday. Comparing the same things, occupied and unoccupied. Alright, but if you scroll back up and you look, our ratio of occupied to unoccupied was 2 to 5. So occupied is going to get 2 boxes. Unoccupied is going to get 5. Alright. And we know from up above that each box represents 70. So that's the same thing that for this diagram as well. So every box you can fill in with the number 70. Because we are using equivalent ratios. Alright, so then part C says the number of unoccupied rooms on Saturday night, so back in the blue, unoccupied, we know that there's 70 in each box, times there are 5 boxes, and 70 times 5 is 350, and this is 350 rooms. Alright. So that's our first example. So now we're going to flip over to the next page here. We're looking at number 1. It says Peter is trying to work out by completing sit-ups and push-ups in order to gain muscle mass. Originally, Peter was completing 5 sit-ups for every 3 push-ups, but then he injured his shoulder. It says to write the ratio. So the ratio of sit-ups to push-ups, they said, was 5 to 3. So that's what goes on the line. After the injury, so I'm going to change my color here. After the injury, Peter completed the same amount of exercises as he did before his injury, but completed 7 sit-ups for every 1 push-up. So again, it says to write the ratio for sit-ups to push-ups. On this line, you can put 7 to 1. And the last part here says during a training session after his injury, Peter completed 8 push-ups. How many push-ups was Peter completing before his injury? Alright, so part A says to draw a tape diagram for the exercises Peter completed after his injury. So after I'm doing in green, so first we're going to label this as after. And we are comparing sit-ups and push-ups. Alright, and if we look from up above, my green ratio here was 7 to 1, so sit-ups is going to get 7 boxes. Alright, and push-ups is going to get just 1 box. Alright, so now we're trying to figure out how much each unit is worth. If we go back up here, it says during a training session after his injury, which is what we're doing, Peter completed 8 push-ups. So that means all of the push-up boxes, which is just 1, equals 8. Since there's just 1 box, if we divide by 1, we still get 8. So each box here represents 8. Go ahead and fill those in. Alright, and on the line here it says how much is each unit worth in your tape diagram. The answer we found was 8. Alright, so that's part A. Part B says knowing that Peter completed the same amount of exercises before his injury, draw a tape diagram to show the sit-ups and push-ups he was completing. So now we're doing before, so I'm going back to blue. So this is before. We're comparing the same things, sit-ups and push-ups. Alright, and if you look up above, the ratio for before his injury was 5 to 3. So sit-ups is going to get 5 boxes now. And push-ups is going to get just 3. Make sure they're connected. Alright, and we know from part A that each box represents 8, so go ahead and fill that in. Alright, so now we have our tape diagram, so now we have to answer the last question. It says before his injury, Peter completed how many push-ups? So if we look up here, we're going to look at the push-up box or the push-up boxes, and we know that there's 8 in each box times 3 boxes, and 8 times 3 is 24. So before his injury, he completed 24 push-ups. Alright, we're going to go through one more example all together here, so moving on to page 17. This says a sporting goods store ordered new bikes and scooters. For every 3 bikes ordered, 4 scooters were ordered. And it says to write the ratio. So if we look here, the ratio of bikes to scooters is 3 to 4. However, bikes were way more popular than scooters, so the store changed its next order. The new ratio, I'm going to change my color, of number of bikes ordered to the number of scooters ordered was 5 to 2. If the same amount of sporting equipment was ordered in both orders, and 36 scooters were ordered originally, underline that, how many bikes were ordered as part of the second order? So part A says draw a tape diagram showing the bikes and scooters in the first order. What is the value of each unit? So we are doing the first order, which I'm doing in blue, sorry. So the first order, and we are comparing bikes and scooters. So if we look at our first ratio up there, the ratio for bikes was 3, so 3 boxes for bikes, to 4 scooters, so 4 boxes for scooters. Make sure they're connected. Alright, and we know that up here it said originally 36 scooters were ordered. So we know in this first order, all of the scooter boxes equals 36. We have 4 boxes. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So each box represents 9. So go ahead and fill those in. And we can put that on the line up here. So that's the first order. So now for the second order, for part B, it says knowing the same amount of sporting equipment was in each order, draw a tape diagram showing the bikes and scooters in the second order. So this is the second order. I'm doing this one in green to match what I underlined above. Still doing bikes and scooters. Alright, but our ratio for the second order was 5 to 2. So bikes gets 5 boxes. And scooters gets only 2. And we know from part A that each box represents 9, so go ahead and fill those in. That way we can answer our last question here, which is asking us how many bikes were ordered as part of the second order. So if we look up here, we know each box represents 9. And we have 5 boxes, so 9 times 5 is 45. So our answer is 45 bikes. Alright, so if you flip on to page 18, there is one more example. Example 3, I want you to put a star by it, and I want you to try this one on your own. And we'll go through it in class. To help you out though, I'll tell you for part C, for art students you should get 30, and for gym students you should get 105. Alright, so go ahead and try that last example number 3 on page 18, and we will go over that in class.